So inheritance and inherited wealth is something that, the great grandfather, whatever, is passed down. Homeboy who is here today did nothing to deserve that multi-billion-dollar business, but he gets it because of his bloodline. Correct? Is that how it?
Yeah,
That's
I mean,
how, that's
exactly.
how inheritance.
Oh, like Bronny James is going to get $1 billion.
Right, yeah, I mean, yeah, sorry. Great example. So what I'm saying is that, like, I guess what I'm trying to say is that, like, I believe that reparations in and of itself, one, I don't think that the argument is formed right, and two, I believe that, it's kind of a reverse inheritance, if that makes sense, where it's like, where it's like, yes, black people, like me personally, yes, I did not have to suffer through Jim Crow, slavery, or whatever, but all those choices that were made in those times have, like, gotten necessarily me to where I'm at now.
Got it. So let me tell you where we have a difference of opinion.
Okay, absolutely.
Okay? So we as conservatives tend to underemphasize this idea of many legacies of suffering. Whereas people on the left, not saying you're on the left, but the other perspective.
Definitely not.
No, for sure. But that's fine. No, that's fine. Let's just say the other side of the argument tend to emphasize that you are stuck because of something that happened to you many generations prior. We believe, absent very unique circumstances in the United States of America, that is almost never true. For example, we think every individual should be judged by their own actions, their own character, and their agency. Now, let's play this out, though. You're acting as if, not you, but let's say the argument, because you're coming after this in a great way, there's been like no money sent Black America the last 60 years. We have spent over $25 trillion on Black America in 60 years, and Black America's poorer than before we started. We're talking about Medicaid, food stamps, we're talking about schools, public housing. The issue is not the amount of money. The issue has instead been a couple things. Number one, it's been the downfall of the Black family. And unfortunately,
yes, I agree with that.
Yeah, the more money we've spent on this, we've seen the downfall of the Black family. Just some numbers super quick. Is that in 1964, right before the passage of the Civil Rights Act, 75% of Black youth had a dad around. Now it's 25%.
So, yes. So Charlie Kirk went into that, and the young man was talking basically that, we deserve reparations because of everything that our ancestors went through, and therefore, we deserve these kinds of things. But when you think about it, Charlie just said just about $25 trillion has been poured into the Black community, and the Black community is worse off than it's ever been. So that has to say something. So all of these programs, all of these nonprofits, all of these after-school programs, all of these food programs, all of these agencies, all of these, program after program after program after program. It's like housing, Section 8, temporary housing assistance, welfare, like food stamps, so like all of these, Medicaid, healthcare, SSI, like all of these different things that's, being put in the hand of the Black person. I'd say it's reparations. Tell me in the comments, do you think that's reparations? Because I think that's reparations. $25 trillion from like the 1960s, 70 years to now, that's a lot of money. And it's been wasted. So that's Charlie Kirk and his points. And now we're going to take it to the leftists and how they are reacting to his death because of these beliefs right here. His beliefs is people should take responsibility. Black people should take responsibility for themselves. They should not count on the government to fix everything for them. They should take responsibility for themselves. The Black man, the Black male, the Black father, the Black leader should take control and lead the Black family, lead the Black community. But more often than not, the Black community leaders, Al Sharptons, who else? Jesse Jackson, those kinds of people in these leadership roles, they're literally creating policies, or they advocate for these policies that really is detrimental to the Black people. And of course, the Black politicians. When we look at these liberal cities are literally run by Blacks, and a lot of them, of course, Democrats. So sometimes that Democrat is a white, but a lot of times those Democrats are blacks. Let's take, for example, Brandon Johnson in Chicago. Look at the mess that Chicago is in. Shootings every weekend. I mean, just like for Labor Day weekend, I didn't even cover it. About 50 something or so people got shot. Black on black crime. Yeah, there was no white man involved in that. That was black on black crime. Massacre. That's what happens in these communities. Again, black leaders, again, not putting responsibility on these people out here who's causing it. Oh, we just need more programs. Oh, we don't need more police. We need more programs. And that is where Brandon Johnson lives. We don't need more police. We need more programs. And so, friends, that's what they advocate for. But if you're having 50 people shot in one weekend, friend, I think you need more police. I think you need more police. Just saying. So now we're for our first leftist. Let's add her to the stage. This one is quite interesting. You ready? TikTok leftist. Let's go.
Someone dying because it's still a life loss. Is it though? Is Charlie Kirk a life loss, or did the devil just call home one of his disciples? I mean, they celebrated when they killed Martin Luther King and he was preaching peace. I think it's okay for people to be rejoicing in a white supremacist dying. I think that's all right. Mind you, he died doing what he loved, protecting gun rights. He said so famously that he believes that deaths are just sacrifices made to keep your Second Amendment, and he is indeed one of those sacrifices. And I'm going to be honest, better him than another innocent child just going to school, or an innocent person going to the grocery store, or an innocent person going to church, or an innocent person just being on the subway, or an innocent person literally anywhere dying from gun violence. That man spent the last few years of his life peddling racism, white supremacy, xenophobia, sexism, and all things detrimental to a productive society. He was the embodiment of bigotry, and him dying in this way was very poetic. And I don't feel bad. We shouldn't celebrate someone.
Leftist is absolutely right that Charlie Kirk did die while he was doing what he loved. He was out there advocating for truth, talking about violence, not necessarily about gun violence, but violence as a whole. When we just talked about Chicago and all of those shootings. And people tend to forget that it's people behind the weapon. It's people pulling the trigger. It's the people that's out here killing people. And if the bad guys have guns, then guess what? The good guys should have guns too. Because if the bad guys have guns and the good guys don't have guns, then the bad guys is going to kill everybody. And who's going to stop the bad guy if you don't have a weapon to fight back with? So that's why we believe in our Second Amendment rights. That we have a right to protect ourselves. We have a right to protect our property. We have a right to protect our families. We have a right to protect our businesses. We have a right to keep and bear arms. Right? We have a right to that. And if memory serves correctly, part of this Second Amendment was to help Black people as well, so that they could protect themselves from people like the KKK, right? Who, by the way, are Democrats, right? But nobody wants to talk about that. The Second Amendment is here to protect everyone. And so, yes, friend, Charlie Kirk dying on that campus, speaking about these things. He was shot to death, speaking about what he believed in, trying to wake up the masses, trying to wake up the sheep, trying to wake us up out of our sleep. And I'm sure Charlie knew that every time he walked onto a campus, that there could be a possibility, that he could get hurt. But sometimes, friend, when you know what you know, you take that chance anyway. You do it anyway. And so, yes, dear, he died doing what he loved. By the way, hideous glasses. Hideous. All right, next up.
Charlie Kirk is gone, but some people refuse to mourn him. A lot of black people and a lot of women refuse to mourn him, myself included. Let's talk about why. He once said, if I see a black pilot, I'm going to be like, boy, I hope he's qualified. Moving on.
So I'm going to just stop him right there. Yeah, you want to know if they're qualified, especially in the DEI era, where there was a lot of talk that people were being hired, people were being put on, and they didn't qualify, they didn't do the test, or they dumbed down the test so black people could get a shot at these jobs, and they don't know how to fly airplanes, or they don't know how to do certain things, and then crash you go. Yeah, I want to know if they're really qualified. I want to know if they're really qualified. And I get it that, okay, well, you're not asking if the white man is qualified. You're not asking if the Asian man is qualified. You're not asking these things. Well, they don't lower the bar for the whites, and they don't lower the bar for the Asians, but they do lower the bar for blacks. And if I'm going to be in an airplane, I need to know that you have the credentials, you have the experience, you have the training to be able to lift us up, fly us where we're going, and land that sucker. I needs to know that.
Moving on to quote number 2. He called George Floyd a scumbag. So all that he's a father, he's a husband, that is out the window, because George Floyd was a father too.
All right, we're going to have to stop and address that as well. George Floyd, who was a criminal, who was, I don't know if he killed anybody, but I remember he had a woman, a pregnant woman, he held her at gunpoint. Yeah, he did that. He was a crackhead addict, all that. A criminal, a menace to society. He was a menace to society. And I'm sure he was a father, because of course they're going to drop their seed wherever they are. Charlie Kirk was a family man, a husband. Not to say that if you're not a husband, your life don't matter, but George Floyd, friend, come on, in and out of jail, in and out of prison. That was scum. Yeah, I said it. George Floyd was scum. I said it.
That the Civil Rights Act of 1964 was a huge mistake, and that's the very law protecting black people and women from discrimination. When it comes to women, he repeatedly fought against their rights, dismissing feminism, saying they shouldn't have equal pay, even saying they shouldn't have abortion access.
Listen, friend, if your mama had aborted you, would you still be here spewing this nonsense right here? No, you didn't want her to have an abortion on you, right? You alive today. You alive today. So you can spew nonsense. But you would deny other black children the same right. 50% of the death, friend, happens in the black womb. 50% of the black death happens in the woman's womb. Aren't you glad your mama didn't kill you? Aren't you glad she didn't? Abortion access.
He even said Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. was awful, discrediting someone who fought for equality, who both black men and women benefited from today. That's tough. Now, he said all these things and y'all act like y'all surprised that nobody wants to mourn him. He made himself a villain. Whoever cries when a villain dies?